So Milldale, been recently zoned for urban development in the new Auckland Unitary Plan. We probably started the first earthworks on the far side over by the motorway in about 2017. And it's a 300 hectare site. It's got zoning that will deliver about 4,500 homes. I think it's probably, if not the biggest, one of the biggest subdivision projects in the country at the moment. So as you can see, we're fully into some of that housing build out here. We're probably about a quarter of the way through the house build. You can see in the distance we've got a lot of houses built around here. A school site with the big green patch out there in the middle, and what you can see behind us here is more of the construction side of it. So the earthworks and the civil construction is well underway, and being in the middle of summer, it's pretty busy out there.
Yeah, I guess my role in the project is more focused on the big infrastructure jobs that help service the development as a whole. So it's about planning ahead and knowing that in 3 or 4 years' time you're going to need a big wastewater connection, and then starting the planning to make sure you've got that wastewater connection. So talking to Watercare, starting to get your resource consents in place, working through with the contractor in the design phase to make sure that you've got time to then go and build the works and have them live and operational once the houses are coming online and they've got somewhere to flush their toilets too. And it's the same with roading, same with the water supply. So all of those big key infrastructure elements, we're trying to get lined up in time to enable the houses which the civil guys are building and the roads to all have something connect to the wider Auckland area. I think we've got a team of about 20 now. Yeah, 20 full time, and then we've got the planners and the surveyors and the urban designers that help out, you know, as we need. We've actually got two engineers in the team now. Have been with us for sort of 6 months to a year. They started before they finished uni, so they were at uni while, you know, doing a couple of days for us a week in the drafting team, and then they've now moved through to be young graduates designing a stage on their own. 3 or 4 key guys who are sort of mentoring those graduates, senior engineering level, and then me and Jamie overseeing that. So that's the engineering team, and then we've got all the other inputs from the planners and the surveyors as well. One individual engineer will see the project right from concept design all the way through to finished product, and that's a really good way of those engineers upskilling themselves personally, because they see the whole project rather than being pigeonholed just into one little bit. You learn a lot by watching what you design get built on site and learn from what the contractor's telling you on site about what's working and what's not. So the goal is to do 300 new houses a year, and that's sort of why we've got a big team working on it as well. There's just a lot of work to get through to get that set up. That sort of starts three or 4 years before that point. You know, sometimes there's time pressures and you've got a tight construction program. For me, I usually get given a problem. We need to get a crossing from this point to this point, a road crossing, make it happen. And so you get a really open-ended question, and it's how you go and solve that question. You don't really have a defined scope, and you've really got to nail down how you're going to solve it and also show that is the best solution to the problem. So we had a similar thing with our wastewater connection. We had to go through and look at pump stations and gravity lines and all those sorts of different options and find the best overall solution to the site, which is going to be acceptable to Watercare, but also cost effective. And then as we nailed that down and got more detailed, and it was working with the contractors to find a solution for tunnelling that wastewater line underneath the motorway and things like that, which are really challenging technical issues that we've had to work through and to get it across the line. So yeah, this road, this bridge, and then it keeps going north and eventually goes up to Wainui Road, and it's going to be the main arterial through the job in the future. The bush on either side, it's got really high ecological value. There's some kahikatea trees in here, which we unfortunately had to remove to allow this access, but it ended up being I guess the lesser of the evils, where we had already a clearing, and to widen that clearing meant less damage to the bush rather than creating a whole new corridor, which, you know, would have meant clearing of a lot of trees. Yeah, so this is the Watercare corridor. So when Watercare found out we were building this bridge, they got on board and said we needed future services to be coming through this area of the site. So none of these pipes are live at the moment, but they're all just future proofing for the development that's going to happen to the south. So I think what makes Woods good, in summary, is probably the history in land development, and also the people that we seek and
the key senior staff that we have at Woods to mentor all those young people to be good engineers, good surveyors and good planners.
We tend to try and get very practical engineers and surveyors. They'll approach a problem not from a textbook way of dealing with it. They'll look to more open-minded and try to find the best solution, which gives us a really dynamic solution to problems, and we often find solutions which aren't what people have done next door on the last subdivision. We find new solutions to problems which mean the client usually has a more cost-effective but also a better outcome for their developments.
What I'm most proud about, I think when you come outside on a day like today and you play a part in getting that going. Like, the site employs a lot of people, getting a good job from it, driving through the finished streets, seeing there's a great range of different types of houses get built in there, and just seeing a community, I guess, start to develop here in what used to be a cow paddock a few years ago. So yeah, that part of it's quite cool to see the transition from rundown farmland to vibrant urban community.
I find the road design really interesting in Milldale. We've done a lot of traffic calming and pedestrian and cycle focused road design, and for me it's building a subdivision which I'd actually really like to live in. I walk around my own subdivision and just get so frustrated that we can't have the same things that this development's having. So it's really cool seeing that come to completion, and now starting to see mums with prams walking around this thing you've designed and using all those crossings and seeing it being done safely, and yeah, it's a really rewarding completion project.